first idea of this series, I focus on the footprint, the Buddha footprint first, because the symbolic in the detail of the footprint. So I shift a bit to the Dharma wheel because I found that there are the Greco-Roman pillar in the detail of the Dharma wheel. That's why I think a lot about mixing with the East and West in one image, because we found that the Buddha statue, the originally came from the Western knowledge. I don't know how they mix. Originally in Buddhism, there are no statue. They deny any statue, right? But when this belief moved to the boundary between East and West, that is the place that got very strong influence to the local people. They have to mix the new belief and old belief together. That's very interesting.
Déjà Vu Buddha is Hiding is the conclusion of Natee Utarit's long-running series, which she started in 2018. I think one of the main things that would set Buddha is Hiding apart from prior Déjà Vu exhibitions is that there's a strong focus on paper works. Prior to Buddha is Hiding, works in Déjà Vu comprised of a very, very wide range of mediums and materials. In utilizing paper, utilizing print, the reproducibility suggests the necessity of dissemination of important information that the artist wants to urgently get out and share with people. It suggests a maturity and a conclusion of the ideas that he has expressed in the Déjà Vu series for the past 6 years. One of the most amazing things about the works here and the way that the images are employed is that it makes us think deeper about what we perceive to be juxtapositions most of the time. I think one of the methods that Natee employs in the creation of his work is creating this sense of disorientation for the viewer. This perceived clash of opposing icons is ultimately harmonized in the final compositions that he creates. And when the familiar meets the unfamiliar, we are forced to reconcile, what we may originally perceive to be distinct. I think this is the fundamental nature of hybridization and how hybridization begins. After we are able to resolve these incongruences in our thinking, in our ways of approaching these images, we start to see that there's actually a certain harmony, not just in the visuals itself, but the ideas that are embodied by those visuals.
Natee's project, I would say, is a very well executed one, stemming from the fact that the artist himself being very well versed in printmaking. I think part of the reasons why the show was so well executed was because there was this common language in terms of technicalities and how works can be realized. On his end, it became a very straightforward way where he conjures and draft up images with a very clear idea of how they would end up in print form. I think the angle from which he was coming in to realize many of his works was techniques that he was not familiar with. That means he has not really done it himself, which is why I think the 2 large canvas works was produced to reflect the kind of scope outside of his own capabilities. So there is that large emboss in the show, which actually I have no idea how to make it. So I thought about it and make a small plate to try, show it to him, and again, he was happy with it. And I just very honestly tell him, what, I know how to do this in this one piece, but to make it in its actual scale, I still need to think about it. But he was quite open to it, and he said, what, if you can, you can. If there's anything you feel like I need to change in terms of my idea, let's work on that. Clever way would be to, instead of trying to make it seamless, we just fragment it. And to do that, some of the parts was actually fabricated with CNC, taking into account height and all this. On the day of pressing, we don't even know whether it worked, but yeah, it did. So that's another opportunity for us to know what is conceivable. If the artist is open to negotiation and working with us, I think. Somehow something like coming to a full circle, given our past relationship also. He did started something with her in the past. Back then I really thought that he was a very, very good painter. I feel like his work has also matured a lot beyond just painting and technicalities. It's a very strong concept, and interestingly, it ties in with a lot of his own beliefs and perspectives. It's the kind of VAP that actually everybody enjoyed. Enjoyed meaning that, there was a lot of give and take, there's a participation and collaboration.
Every sculpture in this exhibition came from the fragment of the statue I collect. There are a lot of period mixing, Ayutthaya period, Ratanakosin period, or Kantara period. Some is look like a woman shape, some is like Greek god. I want to mix them, and the graffiti on the surface, I try to show the root of the graffiti, that it's a carving, it's not a spray paint. So when I do the installation work in the room, you can see the graffiti on the graffiti, the modern graffiti on the ancient graffiti.
The easiest way to approach any artwork is to be prepared to spend a little bit of time with it. The icons, symbols, motifs that are employed by Natee are very much recognizable by any individual. And rather than seeking to interpret what the artist is trying to say, try to connect those images to your own personal experiences. I think Natee Utarit has done an amazing job in terms of condensing very important ideas for this day and age into images which can be easily apprehended by the viewer. Give the works the time they need and enjoy your time within the space.
I can say that working with STPI is like I working with my old friend in university. My previous workshop here was last 16 years, But when I came here again last year, it's like just last month. I saw everyone is the same, the same relationship. So it's very easy to work with. We have the same attitude of the printmaking, and we know the possibility of the printmaking. We need no any explain, when we work together. They know what I want and I know what they can do. That is perfect for me to work with.